This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing Risus, the anything role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is A Kringle in Time. It was written by S. John Ross, who is also the creator of the system, and the scenario is available from Drive-Thru RPG. Preston Firestone is our game master, and this is episode 4. A recap will be given by David Gasway as his character, Nos482. So, without any further delays, let's continue our journey into the darkness. David?
Thank you, Thom. It has been a very curious adventure we have experienced, this unending Yuletide. We have traveled from Victorian England to the ancient Near East, where we find out there's a bit of a Maltese falcon kerfuffle with the Christ child, who, as it happens, is the one in the history books that is worshipped by Homo sapiens today is an amalgam of human DNA and alien DNA placed here by a strange race of creatures from the planet Obulong known as Cremuloids. And then there's another one that the evil Santa amalgam put together because the Santa Claus got divided into 7 deadly sins versions of himself. And I have to say, I'm a little curious about Yuletide magic and its fundamental nature, as it seems extremely dangerous for something that is commonly considered so benign. Anyway, there was a bomb baby Jesus and a hybrid baby Jesus who's the one who walks on water, and then the third infant child, all of which were glowing with unnatural energy, is the amalgam that Evil Santa put in place to turn Christmas entirely into a commercial season. There was a bloodbath. We cut down King Herod, who was in fact one of the evil Santas, and Rhett has decided to adopt the Santa baby and send him back to Kansas. Meanwhile, we still have 2 evil Santas left to track down. 1. There can be only one Santa remaining. We are covered with the red and green blood of all of the Saints Nicholas. We are steeped in it, and yet the world is still not safe until we travel once again and decapitate a Claus.
Thank you, Nos482. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and ran away to where no fat, handshaking stranger in a red flannel suit and a fake white beard went around passing himself off as some sort of North Pole saint, crossing the desert to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania in a Volkswagen sled drawn by rollicking Adirondack reindeer with German names and bearing sacks of humble gifts from Saks Fifth Avenue for everybody's imagined Christ child. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and ran away to where no Bing Crosby carolers groaned of a tight Christmas, and where no Radio City angels ice-skated wingless through a winter wonderland into a Jingle Bell heaven daily at 8:30 with midnight mass matinees. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and softly stole away into some anonymous Mary's womb again, where in the darkest night of everybody's anonymous soul, he awaits again an unimaginable and impossibly immaculate reconception, the very craziest of second comings. This chapter begins in the sleigh, the 6 steaming corpses of pervert and gluttonous Santa whom you killed in New York, angry and avaricious Santa whom you killed in the Welsh countryside, lazy and stuck-up Santa whom you killed in the ancient Near East, piled in the back. I believe Rhett had an agenda here that he wanted to begin with.
Well, I was thinking about going to Kansas, but I think that we're having some trouble with the Ojibwa tribe or the Choctaw tribe on our property. So I think I'm going to head towards Chicago instead, to our headquarters in at the top of one of the buildings there, where we have a penthouse. Um, I've called ahead on my phone and talked to one of my friends, Paul Blackmore. He's going to be waiting for us when we arrive.
Very good. You sail the sleigh in, landing on top of the John Hancock building.
That's
meets
hard to
one
do
with-
with those two pointy things sticking up too.
Exactly. Well,
So
Rhett, what have you
I
got
get
for
out
us?
with I got you a baby that we have rescued. Don't worry, his parents are fine with it. At least I'll tell you the story later when all this is over, but I'm going to leave this baby with you. I think that we should call him Manuel. That's the name I think will work best for him. Take care of him. I'll be back soon. We're, as you can see, busy with Santa Claus and stuff.
Dasher says,
It-
so
It's not the weirdest thing you've ever seen me fly in on. So, yeah, take care of him, treat him really good, and don't be surprised if he starts glowing.
well, I trust you, Rhett, but I expect a full explanation when we see you back at the penthouse. Hello, Rhett's friends. It's nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah, that's Paul Blackmore, by the way.
Greetings.
I'll go down. I'd quickly go down through the friends.
Greetings, greetings. Well, it's good to see you, Rhett. I better take this baby inside where it's warm.
You got it. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Rhett was my first companion about 160 years ago or so.
Such bosom companions that you called him by your own name.
Oh, I called him Rhett. Yeah, we're all Rhett. You're all Rhett deep down inside.
As long as this Paul is someone you trust, because that kid has the potential to be a bit of a danger, I imagine. Although, maybe not in this time and place. I mean, if he grows up to be a capitalist in Chicago, the city of big shoulders, what's the big deal?
Well, my hope is that he'll grow up to be a witch, like all of us. So, I think we're fine. We'll worry about those things later. I'll hop back up into the driver's seat. Where are we heading now?
Dasher comes through the harness microphone. Well, we have one place left to go, and that's the North Pole to see the big boss.
All right.
So you take
any
off.
particular time? Modern times or?
The very night we found you, New Year's Eve of this year.
All right. I'll set the chronometer and everybody buckle in.
Cool. We'll take this opportunity to roll for advancement, which we didn't do at the end of last session. And you should
I think we did.
We did? Okay.
At least I did.
Excellent. Well, if everybody's being honest, then I would have given you another opportunity. Cool.
Whoops.
The reindeer are silent on the brief journey forward in time, and you're left with your thoughts in the comfortable benches of the sleigh, surrounded by a chaotic red and white swirl of Christmas magic in the tunnel through time. Then there's a bright snap of light, the scent of pine, and a roar of cold air as you emerge at incredible speed into a stark blue-gray sky. Below you, the magical realm of Santa's North Pole fills the visible landscape. The horizons are obscured by the falling snow. Far from the barren ice plains of the Earth's mundane Arctic region, the land below is a varied region of mountains, pine forests, and peaceful frozen lakes. A network of nearby valleys is filled with candy cottages, gigantic gingerbread toy factories, and sugar plum barracks of all descriptions. Santa's complex is the size of a small city, and it's currently in flames. The smell of burnt cookies stings your nostrils. Night is falling quickly, another sure sign that this is a magic land and not the ordinary Arctic. Dasher, leading the sleigh through the swirling snow, shouts back, It wasn't like this when we left. Look! And he points a hoof towards the forest between the valleys where a huge tower dominates the plateau, icy white and forbidding. That's new, Dasher says. The castle seems shrouded in darkness with only a dim fiery glow in its highest turrets. High walls, 3 moats, and 2 crackling energy shields surround it. The reindeer begin banking away and start a gentle dive towards a spot in the snowy forest while clear of the tower. But something must have picked up the sleigh's arrival because 2 missiles are streaking towards you from the complex.
I will use my energy beam to try to at least blow up one of them. I can handle one.
Totally. Give me a roll on your energy beam powers here.
3 5s and a 6. 3 5s and a 1.
Oof, okay, 16, yeah. Describe what it looks like, because it totally works.
Well, it looks like bolts of green energy that shoot out of my hands towards whatever I'm looking at. So if I'm looking at the missile, that's what's going to hit. Yeah.
Explodes.
So, boom, one of them explodes.
Still have a second one to deal with here as you're banking.
Does this thing not have a cloaking device so other people can't see it flying through the sky at night?
Engaging the cloaking device like this. However, it's probably attuned to the sleigh, so I'm not sure that's going to do anything.
It's true. Dasher says, these are missiles. They're trained to seek out foreigners, keep them from intruding upon our magical kingdom here. They smell you through any kind of cloaking device. Begins to close in more.
Anybody else got something? Lady Silver, can you fly?
Throw your friend's arms at it?
Gary, detach, catch the thing, send it away.
You throw Gary's arms out. Okay, woo! And the missile, distracted by the falling arms, chases them down and explodes against them.
Good job, Gary. Earning that name.
I guess this is just what it is now. I'm armless. The reindeer say, now that that's taken care of, we can come in for a safe landing. You find yourselves on a thickly wooded slope in deep snow.
Gary, this is a deep philosophical question. Now that you can no longer use your superpower, are you still a superhero?
I think a superhero is someone who believes really strongly in their heart in doing the right thing. So yes.
We'll find your arms, Gary. Don't you worry.
This guy is very, very lame.
Perhaps Nosferatu can make you some mechanical arms.
I was anticipating that should we recover Santa's workshop, he can certainly make toy arms for Gary. Better, stronger, and faster than the arms he came with.
That would be a great Christmas present.
We have to survive the night and this seemingly impenetrable fortress that he built out of just foul northern magics. Where did this come from? I was counting the reindeer would have the codes to any defenses at the North Pole complex, but it looks as though he's been constructing a great deal.
It's all new. The reindeer have been unharnessing and budding antlers to plan. We think we should head to the headquarters of the Christmas Rebellion, to Mrs. Claus' secret cottage. She'll be able to give us more information.
All right, lead the way, Dasher.
Totally. We'll gather everything we can from the wreckage. And you can drag the Santa corpses with you. Mrs. Claus will keep them safe. You're walking through the snow. It's freezing cold. The deep snow just continues falling. As you clear the top of a hill, you see a valley below. Elven barracks and toy workshops fill it. It's currently in flames. The thick smoke wells up, the smell of burnt gingerbread and peppermint. Dasher says, well, we've got to go through the valley. The Mrs. Cabin is on the other end.
Dasher, go ahead.
Yeah. Dasher, is there anything we need to be watching out for? Any more than missiles?
I think the missiles won't attack us when we're on the ground, but I don't know what all's waiting for us down there. Things have clearly escalated since we left.
Dasher, if you don't mind, this rebellion, as you keep bringing up, did that occur after the Santa split or before?
After Santa split into 7 deadly sins and envy took over the North Pole production, turning it all into an evil conquering the world type scheme, Mrs. Claus and a few elves and us who remained loyal to her fled into the remotest part of the Arctic to her secret getaway. And Comet says, is that the one where she keeps the oil and the wine bottles? And Dasher says, it's not very polite to talk about that here. He says, oh, of course. But yes, it came about after the change in Santa to resist.
And did he manage to retain some of his people?
Yes, the vast majority of the elves have been scared into submission. Those who didn't join willingly.
But what if we could recruit the ones that have only been scared into submission? Get them on our side.
Good plan.
Brilliant idea. It's a brilliant idea.
You said the barracks are right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we get the sense that people are up and moving around in the complex, or people are asleep, or?
This one is pretty well destroyed and burned.
Okay.
If you walk down the hill, there are pieces of toys strewn everywhere, model cars, hands of robot toys. There are about 4 dozen tiny happy cottages and 4 small factories, all of which are in various states of destruction and decay.
Looking at that energy barrier up there.
Mm-hmm.
Since I created an energy barrier around, I doubt it's the same magic at all, but we'll have to see when we get up near it.
Absolutely. It's Christmas magic after all.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't fry or freeze anything that touches it.
Yep. As you approach what was once a cheerful village square, you notice out of the corner of your eyes a tiny elf, his clothes singed from the flames, hiding in a dark alley with a large candy cane shaped gun in his arms. The straight end of the giant confection is pointed at all of you. He seems terrified. Alice, what have they done to you? Looking directly at you, Lady Silver. Are you all right? Ah!
Who are you talking to right now?
They got you too, and after I gave you all of that cough syrup. You can tell by the dilation of his pupils and the rising of his eyelids that he's not. Yeah. He's having a terrible time.
Well, you know what? It's time for us to take it back. Are you with us? You, buddy?
He falls to the ground in a laughing fit, shooting the weapon off into the air at random. These pointed spikes shooting. Singing joy to the world at the top of his lungs. And heaven and nature sing! And heaven and nature sing! Are you trying to grab it?
Give our position away.
Yeah, I think someone needs to take the gun.
Can I stretch over and grab the gun?
Yeah, do it.
Totally. You shoot your arm out and grab it out of his hands. And he's just reduced to sort of whimpering on the ground. Oh, this is awful. What a terrible thing.
Come with us. We're heading towards Mrs. Claus to try to put an end to this.
Mrs. Claus, is she's still alive? I know they've enslaved the elves. They even got Lumpkin.
Good God, not Lumpkin.
Where are they? What if we free them? Where are they?
Well, some of them are in the They're mostly in the big tower. They went up overnight.
Oh no, Lumpkin.
Back, Preston.
Hello.
Lumpkin has a dangerously worded name.
We just asked you where the others are, and
Yeah,
cut
you
out when
mentioned
you
a
were-
tower, but that's all I
Yeah.
caught.
They're mostly in the tower, but the snowmen came down and they captured the war toy factory on the first day. Set up camp there.
What kind of weaknesses these snowmen have? I mean, should we just get some kerosene or
Oh, they're
marshmallow
snowmen
toasting sticks?
with silk hats. Oh, I don't know.
You
Oh.
don't you just take the damn hats? Isn't that what
Yeah.
makes them?
I'm so short I can't reach. I've never tried.
Frosty the Snowman
Well,
traumatized me as a child. You know.
Well, whose side are the snowmen on if they've taken over the war toy factory? Are they against New Santa or are they with
No.
New Santa?
Evil Santa sent them out, I think,
Okay.
after building the tower.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
It's
Their
unfortunate
hearts are
that
cold.
all the American children asked for guns for Christmas.
Oh. And at this point, he's just whimpering on the ground.
Well, let's move forward. If there are any of your comrades out here, let's gather them together.
Where's the tower? Where's this tower he mentioned that they're all imprisoned in?
It's in the other direction.
It's the big white tower that shot at
Yeah.
us
Yeah, looming on the horizon.
with the hellfires in its upper windows.
Well, you know.
That's it.
My estimation at this point is that if this individual is representative of elfin kind, they would not be much use in a rebellion at any rate. Probably their skills are limited to manipulating small objects and making toys and
It's a numbers thing.
infections.
Like you just
Yeah.
overwhelm.
Yeah.
Overwhelmed.
Certainly, if we can free them from within the tower, they may be of some small assistance, but I don't think gathering an army of them, if, again, this representative is suggestive, will be of much use. But I am interested in the fact that Mrs. Claus keeps her own cabin separate from the old man's. I mean, he's a jolly old elf. I wonder if they had some relationship difficulties before any of this Yule nonsense came up.
Yeah.
Sadly, I do not drink wine.
Dasher, as he's leading you through the route to Mrs. Claus's cottage, I assume that's where you all are headed, through the holly bushes and pine boughs, he explains, the missus always liked to have her own private place away from the hustle and bustle, and Comet says, yeah, that's where she keeps the whips and oil and stuff, where Santa doesn't, shut up, Comet, that's not polite. Yeah, I'm sorry. And you can see it, a tiny little cottage, undisturbed by the wars raging across the winter fairyland. Warm light pours from the windows onto the snow, and Christmas lights twinkle merrily. 2 elves stand guard outside the door with more of the candy cane rifles, and they recognize the reindeer and grin and run forward to give everyone a warm handshake.
Oh, shake.
Oh, shake, exactly. Welcome. You must be the heroes we sent for, the elves say.
Well,
Come
so far we've managed. How's everybody doing?
Well, come on in to meet the missus. We're okay here, but it's been rough. You find yourselves in a warm living room with blinking Christmas lights. Nat King Cole is on the stereo, and a deliciously built, beautiful, affectionate woman is laughing and hugging the reindeer while a crowd of elves looks on dreamily. Mrs. Claus is wearing her traditional garb, a red velvet suit with white trim cut about 4 inches below the waist and a little mini skirt. Oh, Dasher, Comet, my baby reindeer, you brought the heroes we need. And she smiles at you. Oh, and they're such healthy specimens, too.
This seductress is no match for my vow of celibacy.
She comes up to you and then rests her hand on your shoulder. Oh, I'm sure you'll save us from the evil Mr. Claus. Everybody else.
So we just need to get some information from you about what's been going on and what all the things are.
Of course, of course. And the elves bring out sandwiches, and they don't have any alcohol here. Unfortunately, they're on the lam.
Oh, I brought my own. Don't worry.
You're not going to share.
No.
Nice. Nice. Mrs. Claus sits down, two of the Dasher and Comet next to her under her arms, rejoiced to be near her. The Citadel, well, the Citadel went up overnight. It's surrounded by moats, molten lava. We haven't gotten close enough to be sure what's in the others. There's something moving around in the middle one. Of course, the energy shields are the real problem. I'm sure you noticed them coming in.
Yeah.
Quite advanced.
Fortunately, a few, yeah.
So, Mrs. Claus, we would like to know your perspective on what the heck happened.
Well, I'm sure the reindeer filled you in, but it's about to be expected. Santa, oh, poor dear Santa, he wanted to infuse joy and productivity into the elves, and he had been going on a deeper and deeper dive into the dark annals of Christmas magic, and he thought he had truly found the secret. And I don't even know all the technical details, but it was something dark, and it was a catastrophe. You've met 6 of the 7, and the 7th is just envious, possessed by shame and a desire to have everything in his own image. Oh, my poor dear husband. You will help us, won't you? She runs her fingers down your chest.
Using beguilement on me is not going to work, ma'am. But you don't need to try to compel me to do what you want. We have to figure out how to get inside there. Is there a sewer system?
Oh, you are real heroes. One of our remaining spies brought us this, and she pulls out of her bosom pocket map outlining the War Toy Valley, which has now been turned into a chain-linked factory complex. She says, the valley's guarded by Frosties, Santa's new snowman troops. It's where the weapons are manufactured, but there's no moat. You may be able to slip in under the cover of darkness. Under this factory, and she points to the one marked with an X on the map, there's a secret passageway into the dungeons beneath the tower. You should be able to penetrate it through there if you're sneaky enough.
All right, that's good head start. So we got a plan.
Do you have any of the ancient Christmas magical tomes?
No. Santa kept all those in the Christmas laboratory, which was exploded and burned during the failed experiments. As far as I know, they've all ended up in Fort Kringle. I was never one for magic myself.
Interesting.
Seems kind of a shame you couldn't keep the husband on the leash regarding his magic stuff as well. Seems he was a little in over his head. But, a dame like you, it's hardly a surprise.
Yeah, he always wanted more. He was never happy with what he had.
Indeed, desire is the root of all suffering.
You're so smart, samurai.
Nice.
Samurai, she's 1,700 years old.
I don't judge.
Yeah.
Age is just a number, Rhett.
She'll get up and gently caress your cheek. Oh, and so handsome too. She looks over at Dasher. I knew you'd find good ones.
Well, we're here because we want to put Christmas back the way it was.
That's all we ever needed. Thank you, heroes.
The reindeers were not particularly aware of a weakness that the so-called Frosties provide. Would you recommend an assault on the silk hats, or should we go full flamethrower?
I don't know about. I assume they are made of snow. We have preliminary intelligence reports that the magic does come from their hats. It's definitely worth a try to confirm. And they are made of snow, so melting them, they do melt.
I think a combination, not all of us have flamethrowers. A combination of both will work.
Would there be any way to disguise ourselves as snowmen?
Not very easily. Not without freezing to death.
I didn't even know where we'd get the carrots. It's not like we can just stop by the Tesco here. We're in the barren wastelands of the north.
Figured that's what they were feeding the reindeer anyway.
But maybe another disguise of some sort. Kringle suits or something.
I'm assuming the elves are of small stature.
Yes, they're all of very small stature, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'd have a hard time passing as elves, I think. Too tall.
Well, most of the Santas we have dispatched were rather oversized. Perhaps if we skin their corpses so we can don them.
Well, or their clothes. I mean, you don't need to get gruesome.
Forgive me, it comes with the territory.
But I suppose if we dressed up, we could act like the various Santas.
Yes.
Yes.
This is very true. The Frosties are pretty dumb, he likes them that way. Keeps them in line.
Perhaps disguised as the deceased clothes sinners. We could just walk right past them, give them a little, I assume that Kringle's got some kind of creepy salute he started.
Yes.
Heil Christmas.
Exactly.
Maybe, Rhett, you can magic them up a little bit so they don't look quite so bloody and ragged.
Yeah, we can give them a quick cleaning.
I have laundry facilities here if you need them.
Let's clean them up. Maybe that'll work. Maybe they're not so, brainy on distinguishing between one person in a red suit and another person in a red suit. So
absolutely.
They say if you do something with authority, that sometimes they just obey. That might work.
Absolutely. So
yeah, let's get to washing. I'm not above helping you wash. Let's get them washed.
Nice. So you strip the Santas naked, wash their suits, don them. They're warm, cozy, comfortable. You should have no trouble moving through the snow wearing these Santa suits. Out of curiosity, are you each planning to be a specific deadly sin, or how deep is this going?
I'm taking perverted Santa.
Oh, thank God.
Thank you. I did not want to role play that.
I didn't want to touch his clothes. I'll take fat Santa, or what was he? Gluttonous Santa.
Yeah, excellent.
I'll take angry Santa.
Cool.
I'll be prideful. Why not?
Great. And Lady Silver, you're going to try to go invisible through the whole thing?
I'll go invisible. Gary can take one of whatever Santa's left.
Nice.
Avarice Santa, maybe.
His arms, his sleeves are already completely cut off.
Yeah, there you go.
I lost them in the war. The war on Christmas.
Mhm, mhm.
Not the war on Christmas.
Nice. So they can also offer you the cane sliver rifles if you want to take them. They're not
I already
quiet.
have one,
Nice. That's true.
so I will take my cane thing.
Nice. And so you head towards the War Valley. It's cold, it's dark, but the Santa cloaks keep you warm. You see it up ahead. There's searchlights sweeping along. A barbed wire fence surrounds the whole thing. Sentinel towers at each corner of it are manned by snowmen. The officers with carrot noses, others with button noses patrol the perimeter. Are you going straight down Santa Claus Lane?
I think that would be the smart thing to do.
Nice.
With an air of authority, bolstered by the fundamental terror at the grotesquerie of this nightmarish Christmas landscape.
Excellent.
I also
Excellent.
think if there were any cookies or food or anything that was at Mrs. Santa's, I'll have a cookie so that I can look like I'm eating as I'm walking along.
Excellent. Excellent. You are just walking straight through, looking official, like a troop of Santas with an invisible Lady Silver alongside. I'll ask for a roll here. I think this is a perfect application for Rhett's leadership role because of the confidence implied.
You got 2.
Nice.
I got a 6 and a 2.
Okay. That's an 8. I'll let other people help since you're all doing this together. I imagine that contributing an air of authority if you're each acting.
Yeah.
But as it is, the snowmen are standing, pivoting towards you. They don't really have expressions, but they're definitely watching you enter.
How do we help?
Just roll, and any 6s will be contributed to the total.
Yeah, but what do we roll?
Oh, yes. Well, what do you think your character would draw on? What characteristics of themselves would they draw on to attempt to project an air of authoritative Santaness?
Bushido code.
Yeah, Bushido, definitely. Samurai.
Nice. I think Fred will do vaudeville.
Yeah, because I'm performing.
Nice.
Okay, I got 1.
1 6. Nice.
I have manipulative.
Nice. So what do we have?
2
8.
6s and a 5.
Okay. 8 plus 18. Nice. Fred, no 6s.
I did not get any 6s, no.
Nice. Lady Silver, invisible in the tread.
I figured mine wouldn't count because I'm not really helping with the acting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, I could roll for Gary's pluck, but other than that,
Luck is
I can
always
help.
important.
oh.
I'm a plucky guy. But I think between all of you projecting an air of authority in your own particular interpretation of the sin you're incarnating, walk by this row of Frosties. They pivot to watch you, give you, I don't know off the top of my head what the suspicious Christmas Santa salute would be, but they give it to you anyhow. You may decide to return it. And you find yourselves at the gigantic ring of warehouses surrounding the valley interior. 2 of the blocky structures are nearby. They're all completely still, and the high windows show no hint of interior light. Are you then proceeding directly to the factory, or are you going to look in the warehouses maybe, or what is your approach here? You've gotten past the first centuries, but you're not out of the hot water yet.
Yeah.
Fred's playing anger, so I think he's probably in the front.
Yeah. I'm anger walking. And I think to keep up the appearances, we kind of need to not loiter.
Mhm.
And so I think, do we want to check out any of the labor cottages or the warehouses?
Well,
Thinking not. Think
I
probably
was
going.
wondering if we want to reduce the turnout when the alarm is sounded, if we
Mhm.
could start a couple of warehouse fires, that might keep the Frosties busy, and then we just move on toward the tower.
what if the elves are in the warehouses?
Well, I mean, we'll have to look in them to find out.
The group of you could move on, and I could just start knocking hats off Frosties. See if we
There
can
you go.
disable them.
I like that.
There you go.
Extremely logical.
If we do find the elves, we could tell them, quick, go, get out.
All right,
No.
then I'm going to start making for the perimeter. Maybe we pick a muster point, like the tower or something.
Mhm. So, Lady Silver, you're going for any frosty patrols you can get. They're
Yeah, I'll try to
patrolling,
catch
but
him alone and just like knock the hat off. See if that does anything, at least.
totally. And then the other four of you are just proceeding directly into the factory marked with an X. Um, or are you going to stop in one of the
I think
warehouses? The
I
elf
think if
barracks.
Lady Silver is actually taking care of the guards rather effectively, if it's working,
Mhm.
then we can at least see what's going on. We might see 100 elf prisoners that we can free, cause more chaos.
Totally. I'm gonna ask. So I'll ask Lady Silver then to roll on her superhero cliche to see if she's able to sneak up on one of these frosty patrols and bop the
Could
hat
I
off its
make
head.
could I make a case for something?
Yeah.
We are at the North Pole,
Uh-huh.
where radiation is actually quite a bit higher than the rest of the world, which I
Mhm.
would like to argue bolsters my superhero abilities. If I could have some kind of like temporary bonus or like a lower skill or something like that. I don't know. But
Totally. I'm gonna say yeah, lower the target number. So you
okay.
just got to beat a 5 because your superhero bolstered by North Pole radiation.
All right. That is 19. No, 20.
Oof. Nice. Uh, you find a snowman who's alone. He's just turned a corner out of sight of all the others. You sneak up on him invisibly, bop the hat off his
Knock it off,
head.
yeah.
Yep. And it's suddenly reduced to an inert pile of snow right there, just a snowman.
I'm gonna hold on to the hat though. I don't want him getting it back. So
Nice. Totally. Hat acquired. Um, the other four of you are just going to try to march right into the factory. Is that the idea? Or the warehouses, you're setting fires?
No, I don't think that we want to set fires yet, but
Mhm.
let's definitely take a look in the factories as we're going by. I
Totally.
want to see what they're manufacturing.
You're able to, you peek in through some of the windows. The guards are within the facility. The guards are patrolling rather infrequently, and so you're able to especially now that Lady Silver has disabled some of them, sneak up to the windows and look in. You see on the factory floor a crowd of busily working, miserable elves attending to conveyor belts that are rolling out um, from one giant machine to the next. Dangerous toy robots, some of which look hauntingly familiar to some of you, in that they might be a model of maybe a NOS 483. Um, Guns, grenades, ballistic missile systems. The interior is supervised by more of these frosties. There are hastily, freshly painted, stenciled Santa and angular outlines. Catwalks are above the factory floor, and there's what looks like an office with two elves above and light shining out of it.
What if we what if we march into this factory, right? And
Mhm.
I can get up to one of these elves and start kind of like, yelling at him, and then lean in real close and be like, look, this is a jailbreak. Make some noise. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and we can also try to disable the guards by taking off their hats.
Yeah.
In fact, if there's one of those big oversized candy canes, I can just keep walking up to them like Santa and just knocking off their hats.
Totally.
So how many are inside? Maybe 5 or 6?
Yeah, 5 or 6 of these Frosties patrolling, supervising.
Cool. I think that's going to be an easy job.
Cool. Sounds good. So you're bursting the doors open and marching in, Fred, as the confident, angry Santa that you are.
Yeah.
March up to one of the elves. I'm going to ask for a roll here from you.
Okay.
And a role play.
Okay. Vaudevillian for performance.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
The Frosties swivel to you.
16 on my part.
Totally. I think that this is a pretty difficult challenge. So you get up to so you march in, you get up to one of these elves, and he's crouched over the assembly line, soldering.
I like lean way over, very intimidating, like, that's a shit job. Do better.
Santa, you're here. Ah! He's
work faster. You there.
Starts sobbing.
That pain is terrible. The pain is terrible.
Oh, Santa, I'm so sorry. He's sobbing. Yes. The Christmas order. Yeah, we must serve the new Christmas order.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like looking around. What are the Frosties doing? Are they like okay with what I'm?
They're beginning to.
Yeah.
So they're beginning to converge on you here. One of the elves standing next to you is next to the ones that you're terrorizing is clearly not. I mean, he's sympathetic to the new Christmas order and not terrified by it, let's say. He's beginning to look up and look around with suspicion and say, no, wait a minute. What is this? Red, at just that moment, you're charging in and beginning to, nice.
Knock their hats off.
Totally. So we'll move into combat here. I'll say that these Frosties collectively are represented as a grunt squad of 6 dice. Kiso and Nosferatu. Fred is deep in the middle of the factory next to the assembly lines. Red is entering in, knocking hats off. What are you two doing?
I think I'm going to walk up to one of the snowmen and be like, oh, that's an awfully big carrot you have for a nose. And try to like sneak up on him and then get his hat when I'm close.
Cool. Totally. I'll ask for rolls once we have what everyone's up to. Lady Silver, you're still invisible outside. What is your approach here?
Have I taken care of all the perimeter Frosties? Because I want to do all of them before I go back into the town.
Totally. There's a lot of them, so it'll take a while to accomplish that.
I'm okay with that. I think covering our exit, which probably is going to be quick and hasty, is a good idea. So I'm okay with doing that.
Okay, totally. So we'll say that's what you're up to, is sneaking around, bopping hats off the people.
And collecting them.
I have a stack of hats for sale.
Great book.
Yeah. Nos, what are you up to?
I'm going to analyze one of the apparatuses, the pieces of large machinery that are pumping these toys out, and attempt to cause it to catastrophically break down.
Totally.
Pull out some wiring and shove it in a bad place, that sort of thing.
Excellent. So yeah, I'll start asking for rolls then. Red and Kiso, you're both attacking snowmen, so I'll have you roll together against their Yeah, I'll say there's a six. There are 6 dice grunt squad. Nos, I'll have you roll robot just against a target number. Um, and Fred, what are you doing in this moment as Rhett and Kiso are attacking the snowman and Nos is attacking the machine?
Yeah. So I see one of these elves that isn't buying my shtick, right? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm just gonna yell at him and I'm gonna be like, what? What? You can take on the Santa? Bring it, bitch.
He's going to turn to you and say, "I think you're an imposter," and start running towards you.
Yeah.
So he's like
I'm gonna pull out my candy cane gun and shoot him down.
okay. So the first roll here, the Rhett and Kiso, you guys together. One of you will be the leader, and one of you will be the follower. I think Kiso is the one attacking with the sword, and Rhett is bopping the hats off. So Kiso's dice count fully, and Rhett will contribute 6s. Fred, what do you? You're like, what is the shooting people cliche?
I don't know. I don't know.
What is it?
I
Stretching vaudevillian.
I'm thinking like because this is part of the act is what I'm thinking is like
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to like convey that I am Santa, the angry Santa.
Mm-hmm.
So my argument is actually on vaudevillian because I'm still performing the role.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. So roll vaudevillian. You're looking to beat a 13. Kiso and Rhett are looking to beat together a 27. And I'll say for Nos, because the machine isn't really opposing you, your goal is to fully get it to stop producing. Is that it?
I would like it actually just, start sparking and smoking and maybe, grinding to a halt. So a little more violent.
Totally. I'll say, yeah, that's maybe a 13 that you've got to beat.
I've got a 17 with 1/6.
Nice, nice. So the machines begin to grind to a halt. Some of them turn into reverse. And so as the conveyor belt carries the toys into them, they crunch and grind the toys up with giant mashing metal teeth. Kiso and Rhett, how's it looking for you?
I got a
Got
17.
17 plus 6. So that's only a 23. So what's that going to look like? Kiso, you're sneaking up on the Frosty. Rhett is running in, just trying to knock them
Whacking
off.
their hats off. Yeah.
Totally. One of them will turn, and as you're coming up to it, Kiso, it's going to shoot you with the rifle. You'll take 1 die in damage to the cliche you just rolled against. So
Guns are a weapon of cowards.
Nice. Okay. And Fred, how did you do in your roll against the?
I rolled a 13.
Nice. I'll give you the tie. That seems fair to me. So you're shooting this poor defenseless elf.
Yeah.
The little guy goes
Rescuing the
flying,
elves.
shooting blood against you. Say, I knew you were a traitor. The new Christmas order is glorious and will bring us to great power.
I told you not to backtalk me. I am Santa. You will not backtalk me. You will fill my fucking order, you lazy bastard.
Excellent, excellent. Other elves are beginning to stream out, and from above, in the lit office, the overseers are stepping out, saying, "What the hell is going on down there?" Kiso, you're bleeding. Rhett, the snowmen are turning on you. The machines, though, are churning up the robots and the guns and the cannons as they pull in through the conveyor belts.
I'm just going to continue. I'm going to try to knock hats off.
Totally.
If they're turning guns on me, I'm going to dive for cover, but I'm going to keep. I've got a knife, and if I can find a rope, there's probably Christmas ribbons in here. I've used those before.
Yeah, there's definitely rope here.
To pull hats off using witchcraft.
Nice, nice. Yeah, for the rope magic, I'll say that's a simple a simple target number. We've established you can do it pretty handily, so I'll ask for a 10 here. Lady Silver from the perimeter, you hear.
I got a 10.
Nice. So you whip one of the hats off one of the Frosties. It's suddenly an inert pile of snow, begins melting. Its candy cane rifle falls to the ground. Lady Silver from the perimeter, you're hearing massive commotion from within. I think at this point you've gotten the Frosties at the perimeter.
I was gonna say Gary could also lend a hand if necessary in there too. But yeah, I'll move in to where the commotion's coming from.
Nice, totally.
Still in the face or a kick or a
Yeah, Gary is very adept with his legs because he spends so much time without his arms. So
excellent. What do you want him to be kicking?
He's gonna like kind of roundhouse kick some hats off of heads. You know, he's getting in there with Rhett.
Yeah. Why don't you roll on his behalf, Lady Silver?
Sure.
He's a 5th degree black belt. Why is it?
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
7.
7, nice. He'll get his leg partway up and then it'll get stuck in the side of the snowman.
Stuck in a Frosty.
Yeah, exactly.
My God, Gary. For a moment, I thought you were going to do something awesome.
Nope.
Poor Gary. No, I thought so too, but no such luck. Kiso, you've just been shot. What are you doing here?
I'm just going to be like, heh. Only a flesh wound. And I will, try to get the guy who shot me. I'm going to try to get his hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
With my samurai sword.
Absolutely. Charging for him. You're bleeding, leaving a trickle of blood on the floor.
Yep. Okay, so I got 12 with 1/6.
12 with 1/6. I think they're distracted by the antics with Rhett and Fred in the middle of the room. They've just seen all the machinery turn. So I think you're able to stab one of the hats off. It now is on the sword, impaled like a skewer.
Excellent.
Yes. Happy boy. And then it falls silent.
I do not like the look of these collaborating elves above and fear they will bring alarm. So I am going to bound up the stairs with my cape streaming behind me, mysterious and inevitable.
Totally. Holy shit!
I do not know the taste of elf blood yet. And bang out, eyes red.
Oh my god! And they're gonna roll. They're gonna roll against their goose-stepping bully boy cliche. Give us a roll on vampire to see how you do intimidating them. They only got an 8, and then Fred, you'll be on deck.
I got only a 6.
Oof. And they're just able to beat you as you're running up the stairs. They duck back into the office and slam the door in your face.
Mm-hmm. I assume that the candy cane gun's going to work on a door well enough to make up for the fact that I can't actually turn into anything because I'm a robot vampire, not a flesh and blood vampire. Mix, clumping up the steps. It just doesn't have that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll shoot the door and then follow them in.
Excellent. Fred, you're on the factory floor. You just chewed out this one collaborationist elf.
Yeah. I'm going to turn back to the elf that I started with who was cowering, and I'm going to say quietly to him, look, my friends and I are here to save Christmas. I need you to make some noise, right?
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to be a dentist. And he'll start to scream and wail.
I'm here to help make that happen. So make some noise for me, and we're going to save Christmas, all right?
Okay. And he'll start and running around with his little arms around his head.
That's not what I had in mind, but all right, we're going to go with it.
Maybe 2/3 of the elves look up and are, but what are you, wow, what is this? And they'll start breaking into tears, sobbing.
Are there like toy grenade, like these grenades, like
Yeah,
around? Like I'm
totally.
gonna pick up a few of them if I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. There's packaged ones at the end of these assembly lines waiting for delivery.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up a package of grenades.
Great.
See what I can do with that.
Absolutely. Fred now comes with grenades as an accessory. Uh,
I
Red, you
think in
just,
general, yelling to everybody, uh, freedom for the elves. This
yeah,
is a rebellion.
totally. I think that's another great opportunity for a leadership role.
Huh.
Let's see if you can bring the people in.
I got 5.
Uh, they're not going to hear you over the panic screaming. They're more a disorganized rabble now beginning to get underfoot, bump into the snowmen. Some of them are running out into the snow, throwing the doors open. Let's see, Lady Silver, then.
Yeah, if we can say that I've made it
Mhm,
to the factory.
totally.
And it's pandemonium.
Complete chaos. Red is rebel rousing. Fred
Yeah.
just got his grenades. Yeah.
Gosh. I'm trying to think of like what I would want to do. Um, hmm. There's still Frosties hanging around.
There's, I think, 3 left at this
Yeah,
point.
I'll try
taken
to
down.
wrap up with the rest of the Frosties. How about that? Make it easy.
Yeah, that makes sense. You've gotten pretty good at this. I'm going to say it's only an 8 at this point to start hitting the hats.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's let's see.
Way more than an 8.
19.
19. Okay, cool. Do you have like a dramatic way that this happens? Is it particularly?
Um, yeah, I'm still like moving like if you think about it like a movie, there's like all this chaos and I'm just moving like just like silk and still invisible through the whole crowd and just like bam, knocking hats off.
Nice, totally. The rest of you just see these hats go flying off these frosties. The machines are catching fire now. The elves are beginning to run out into the snow. The flames lick up the walls, beginning to singe the painted Santa propaganda. Kiso, what are you up to here? Bleeding.
Um, so we are not in the building. Are we in the building with the tunnel in it?
Yes, but you haven't found the entrance to the tunnel yet.
Interesting. I will look around for that then.
Totally. So on the ground floor, besides the conveyor belts, the machines, the screaming elves, there's piles of explosives packed up, ready to ship. You find some like life-sized boxes of what looked for all the world exactly like Nosferatu toys, ready to be delivered to all the good little children. There's a firing range. There's some radioactive materials that are stocked for the toy nuclear bombs because Santa has gone fully off the deep end, as has the American consumer. There are the catwalks above, and there's the office that Nosferatu is standing outside of. But so far, no sign of a secret tunnel entrance.
I am smashing the hats that I have knocked off, and I am frisbeeing them into the fire that has started so that they can't be put back on.
Totally. Yeah, they're sizzling up. Wisps of Christmas magic shoot out of them like sparks. You can smell the beginnings of a burnt gingerbread. No, so you're standing outside the office. The elves are cowering inside.
Yeah, I'm going to. I've got a pistol, I know how to use it. So I'm just going to shoot the handle off the office door. kick it in and see what these bully boys have to say to that.
Holy shit! And one of them has a red phone sort of in his hand. We've got to get out of here! And the other one's knocking over a filing cabinet.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think I'll kick the filing cabinet at the elf with the red phone. Using the robot strength.
Excellent.
Cliche.
Totally. I think that'll work. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's an exciting story to be told if that fails. You kick the filing cabinet at this little bully boy elf. He goes splaying across the room. He says, what the hell? Who are you? You're not Santa, but you're in a Santa outfit.
There are several new Santas in town, little one. Flee for your cowardly life.
And they they both get up and start running down the rickety stairs into the factory and out. You'll notice under the filing cabinet that you just kicked, there is a trapdoor.
Good. I will call out to the others that I have found the tunnel entrance. And while I wait for them to rise from the impending explosions, I will see if there are any master plans in this office. Maybe Evil Santa has left behind some useful information.
Yeah. You find not a master plan, but loyalty test.
So Evil Santa's got a mandatory loyalty quiz. This form required for all elves of class 8C.11 through 12D.1B inclusive. And for the elves employed in the security or toy testing departments, regardless of pay grade or rank, ask your superior if you are unsure. Report any nagging feelings of dissent immediately. We can help. The Jolly Obsidian Fortress of Obedient Cheer, North Pole, is the publisher here. Jolly equals moral equals obedient. I find this extremely disarming. Do you have what it takes to be a part of the new Christmas order? Take this simple loyalty test and hand it to your superior officer. Please use a number 2 pencil only and fill circles completely. Choose only one response per question. Failure to comply may be interpreted as evidence of dissent. Finish the following sentences. Christmas is a time of family and giving and feasting. Is a time to celebrate Christ's birth and watch Peanuts on TV. Is the global day of Santa Claus worship. Etc., etc. Santa Claus is either coming to town, should respect his place as one facet of a great holiday, or as a very attractive ass. Things have really gotten out of control.
What's it say there next to it?
Ask, unsure about this one, ask Kringle? Kringle. I wonder if there is another entity we have not learned of.
It's probably one of the elves' names.
Oh, yes, like Lumpkin. Poor Lumpkin. Dead baby jokes are funny if it's Jesus. The secret chamber behind the energy shield control room is off limits, where I once had sex with Mrs. Claus, or I frequently have sex alone. So there is a secret chamber behind the energy shield control room. At least 2 of us should focus on dismantling that.
One.
I have opinions on some of these, but I don't know if it's just my perverted Santa coming out.
Nice. So you've all... Go ahead, Ryan.
Finish it. For bonus, loyalty, affirmation, and possible promotion, check only 1 from each pair. Stuffing, cranberry sauce, Colorado blue spruce, tofurkey. Tofurkey. Not my favorite. It's turkey made from tofu.
Oh,
Kiso could eat it.
One
I prefer
blasphemy
tofu.
disguised as another blasphemy.
So you've all, it sounds like, joined in the office here above the burning factory floor. Um, you found,
Yeah,
I think.
because he said there was a tunnel.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah, we're all up here.
totally. You open the trap door, and it opens onto a shaft leading down, down, down into a damp, icy tunnel. You walk through in the dark and cold, eventually coming out to a catacombs beneath Santa's wicked forest. You're in an icy tunnel with a metal grating overhead. Just as you emerge from your tunnel and you're sort of under the walkway, a pair of frosty guards walk above you.
Those things are everywhere. I can't tell you how many I disarmed around the perimeter.
Guess
Mhm.
all you have to do is make a snowman and put a hat on it. So
Mm.
I've been trying to destroy the hats.
Do you think that Santa's evil fortress is climate controlled? If we raise the temperature significantly, we could melt them all.
That might be a lot harder than you think that it would be.
It's possible. I wouldn't leave that in my fortress if I was an evil Santa.
Well, where to now? Where are we going to pop up above and see if we can fight off some more snow boys?
Yeah. I'll
If
say it's
the
been. Go ahead.
if the grating is sufficiently wide, it's possible that Fred could stretch his arms up through it and grab the hats from both of these Frosties before they were aware that anything was amiss.
It's a good idea. I can certainly try that.
Yeah. I think there's no reason that wouldn't work. Shoot your arms up through the grating, grab both hats off. They fall into an inert lump of snow and begin to drip through the gratings onto you.
It's a good thing these Santa suits are so warm.
I was just going to say, Lady Silver, are you cold? You want my Santa suit?
The cape is surprisingly warm, but thank you.
Oh, well, okay, excellent.
Also, if you have noticed, ever since we arrived at the North Pole, she has been glowing slightly.
The ice cold.
Oh,
Your audio cut out.
Yeah, your audio just cut out.
I did.
There you
it's
are.
back.
It's back.
But it
It's
said
back.
the
It's
ice
back?
cold
Oh,
cut off.
I just said the ice cold must suit her,
Mm.
or maybe
It's
the
the
radiation.
really. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm unfamiliar with this concept as my education was in the year 400.
You have
Well, we
heard
could.
of the Northern Lights, but that's so she gets magic out of the Northern Lights. Let's put it that way.
Interesting.
Totally. And in all this time, no more frosty guards have appeared above you.
So now we're within the parameter of the. Have we passed the energy shields from here?
Yes,
By going
yes.
under?
You are now deep under the cellars of Santa's palace, or of Santa's fortress. Looking up, you see in the flickering dim lights of Christmas bulbs blinking along the corridor. This seems to be some sort of wine cellar. Bottles of wine kept cool down here.
As I have told you, I do not drink wine.
So this is Envy Santa, or yeah.
I'll take a bottle of wine off the shelf. What year is it?
Nice. You climb up. It's a pretty good vintage. He seems to have a particular taste for Riesling. I guess if it's a white wine, it won't be that old, but you might recognize that it was a year that was good for a relatively fruity German Riesling. Yeah.
Not bad. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that if Santa even has frosty guards down here in the wine cellar, that the citadel itself will be crawling with the behatted behemoths. What is the current temperature, however?
Down here it's cellar temperature, so it's above freezing but below comfortable room
54.
temperature. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the hats make them, at least to some degree, impervious to relative heat.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Yeah, I'm assuming they'll still melt under a flamethrower, which, do we have one, by the way?
I have a box of grenades.
All right. Well, good enough.
Excellent.
In the cartoon, they locked Frosty in a greenhouse and he melted. So 80 degrees would probably do it, even with a hat. Assuming that Frosty is a historical drama and not just a little children's cartoon.
Well, there must have been some magic in that silk hat he found.
I think in this universe you can... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when they placed it on his head, he began to dance around.
Wasn't the magic created out of love, though?
Yeah.
This is very interesting.
Well, we don't know how he's making the hats, but...
Totally.
At any rate, the infernal light was coming out of the top of the tower, so I assume that's where we've got to go to axe the last Saint Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume there's not, as he grew this citadel rather quickly, it probably doesn't have OSHA-compliant maps in it for...
Well, that's a funny thing that as you're walking along the wine cellar looking for the stairway up, you find at an intersection a directory. Exactly like this. And the "You Are Here" arrow is pointing down to the very bottom of it, to the wine cellar section. And then above will be the dungeons and the entry, the skating gym, barracks, residence, admin, executive chambers, shield control, and at the very top, the Great Hall.
Do you suppose that we should be concerned that the overall shape of the citadel is rather missile-like in nature?
Yeah, I think that's probably a cause for
Yeah, we were just seeing that, yeah.
Now, this might be a time where we divide ourselves, and some go below to the dungeons, where we can presumably find political prisoners who, if released, may be willing accomplices in this revolution. Whereas others of us, I assume, should head immediately to the secret room behind shield control and find out what it is other than a sex dungeon.
The directory goes on and on off the bottom of what you see here. Just about anything you want, you can find here. I'll also note you are now below the dungeons, in fact.
Mm-hmm. Which may be where some elves are. You may be able to free, just to, again, add more numbers.
You know, I was about to say that it kind of reminds me of Isengard from those movies. It is Kringle Guard, isn't it?
Yes,
Somebody out there has got a sense of humor.
All we need to do is call in the Eagles.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is my favorite football team. As a
Wait, am I
certified crazy
Gandalf in this
person.
story?
So is the current plan to split up then, or stick together?
Well, we still have to get to a certain level to get to the energy shield control room. Do we know where that is? Is that the shield control?
Mm-hmm.
All the way up
Near the top?
near the
There's no
top.
reason to split up now if we don't need to divert until further up.
It's about 2/3 up.
Yeah. Yeah, the castle, it's enormous. It has secret passageways and chambers and hallways and tapestries, and y'all can sneak around pretty effectively if you try.
Yeah, my guess is that it's not completely occupied at the moment because Santa's a little off his rocker.
He does seem, however, astonishingly efficient for a fractured personality of an evil gnome. So let's see if we can get a rabble of angry prisoners loose, and they can provide a considerable distraction as we make our way up through the citadel toward the energy shielding room.
Nice. You head up into the dungeons. It's row after row after block of tiny cold cells. imprisoned elves and others are sitting glumly, playing mournful Christmas blues on toy harmonicas, rattling the bars with little tin cups. This is patrolled by nutcracker, 7-foot tall wooden nutcrackers marching along robotically with wooden rifles with glinting bayonets on the end.
Wouldn't like to get stuck with one of those things.
Exactly.
I assume that these large nut-cracking bearded goons, it's probably they can't even walk two abreast, right? So there's only going to be a couple on every corridor.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Anybody got any particular affinity for wooden? Personally, wooden stakes are not a favorite of mine.
Is there like a master button to like open all the cells at once? Maybe we just let people free and they can swarm the nutcrackers and we can kind of just keep moving?
Yeah, that's definitely the kind of thing that would exist, but it'd take you at least some time of searching through to find it. It's not immediately obvious. You didn't stumble upon it quite yet. If you sneak through the barracks, the dungeon blocks a little bit, you'll hear from the distance a sort of fiery elven voice screaming, "But now we should rise up and overthrow the Christmas bourgeoisie and seize the means of production. You should give us festivities or give us death. For my brothers, we have been alienated of our rights." And he's being cheered on by the neighboring cells.
Even traditional Santa Claus is not known for appropriate labor relations, to say the least.
Indeed. Indeed.
Should we lend support to the tiny Marxist or look for the prison control room? I can attempt to analyze the electronic or Yule magic wiring that controls the cells, and that might lead me to some kind of warden's chamber.
Do it.
I'm wondering.
Good idea.
I'm wondering too if our nutcracker friends are, since they're made out of wood, if they're afraid of fire. I mean, just a torch alone would give them pause, I imagine. Of course, they got guns. Damn it, they got guns.
As
What's
our
wrong with people?
Japanese friend noted, they're the weapons of cowards. On the other hand, I pack heat, it's foolish not to. I shall attempt to trace these conduits. Perhaps, Lady Silver, you can provide a distraction so that we are not spotted before.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Do you think Fred could construct some sort of stretching key out of his hand?
I mean, I could try to pick the lock.
Oh, that's true. You are a hobo. You're a
I am
hobo.
Right? You can hobo the lock.
Totally. So Nos is trying to find the central control escape switch. Fred, which of these cells are you looking to pick open?
Oh, the shouty elf.
The shouty elf. Cool. And Lady Silver, what are you up to?
I think what I'm gonna approach the one screaming about the proletariat.
Yeah.
And see if I can get him and all the rest of them into like a rousing rendition of, do you hear the people sing? And
yeah,
when there's like lots of chaos, I'm gonna go invisible and start like banging shit on bars just to kind of create more chaos.
Totally. That's totally gonna work. And if you haven't put it together, this is Lumpkin, the rebel rousing friend of Mrs. Claus. Yeah, they're all going to break into, "Do you hear the people singing the songs of angry men?" The nutcrackers at the end of the hallways are turning, and they're confused and overwhelmed. They're not very intelligent, these ones. They sort of respond to whatever is happening around them.
I'm wondering, since they don't usually have feet, they have a disc at the bottom. If we just knock them over, they're going to be kind of
Hmm.
unable to get back up. Their knees don't bend.
Totally. Totally. Fred, you're
Yeah.
picking. Yeah.
So if I see one facing the other direction, I'll just run up and give him a
Give
shove.
him a shove. Yeah. Yeah. It falls over and is kind of pathetically flailing on the ground. Its wooden gun goes scattering across the dirt earth. The people, Fred, you're picking open Lumpkin's cage here. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, Give us a roll against Hobo. In the meantime, Nos, you're tracing the wires to where they lead to. Kiso, what are you up to in this moment?
I think I will follow Nos.
Okay. Okay. So you two are off delving into the depths of the dungeon. Fred, talk to us.
I got 12.
12? Yeah, I think it's a 10 to pop it open. Lumpkin says, "Thank you, brave Christmas warrior, for saving me. There are surely many elves here who have been captured and Christmas icons from all throughout history.
You're welcome. We're here to save Christmas.
Oh, yes, that's excellent. I knew some heroes would come to save us. Samantha would never do anything." Kiso, is that a question you're asking out loud in game?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe
Okay.
that he does have a rather fascist name. Perhaps he joined Santa.
Yeah. So just like to make sure that the timing of this is happening, you ask Lumpkin this before leaving to follow Nos. And out loud the question is, "Where is Rudolph?" And Lumpkin says, "Oh, that's very strange. Santa Envy, I don't think he's the boss around here. I heard him down the corridor arguing with his Dark Master, and it's strange. The Dark Master sounded just like, you're right, I'd forgotten the name of that little guy, but it was Rudolph. Huh. Very strange. But I don't think Santa is really in charge, and I think that's driving him crazy. He's in the service of some greater evil." Yeah.
Should have let him play some reindeer games, and we probably wouldn't be in this mess.
To be fair, he was bullied rather cruelly.
He was. Yes.
Totally. So, okay,
Good.
just to have the state clear in my mind, at this point, Fred has picked open Lumpkin's locker or cell. He's been talking to you all. Lady Silver has created a rabble-rousing rendition of "Do You Hear the People Sing?" and is running around banging pots and pans on the walls. Rhett has knocked over a nutcracker that's flailing pathetically on the floor, much like a bug, unable to get up off its shell. Nos and Kiso have now headed off in search of the main switch, which I think you're able to find after some time of looking. You pass by all manner of Christmas icons, including Saint Nicholas himself from 4th century Turkey, the Starman, a Polish holiday icon, Donche Lauren from China, Old Babushka from Russia, Emily Bissell, who designed Christmas seals, all manner of people. Even Lady Silver's mentor, the Jaguar, he says, "I was picked up at a holiday party. I don't know. I was just there for the eggnog, guys. It's crazy."
Man, you didn't strike me as a Christmas icon.
I know. It was just, I was drinking, and the next thing I know, I woke up here.
Oh, here, have a sip, join the fight. Let's get this done.
I always knew you were a real one, Lady Silver. Nos and Kiso, you reach the deepest, darkest cells of the dungeon. You do, in fact, find a main control switch.
It is extremely gloomy down here. I like it very much. Did we happen to see perhaps giant cells full of Krampuses?
Sure. Yeah, you passed some cells of Krampuses. Absolutely.
I wonder if they will be trustworthy, but they are currently Kringle's prisoners, so I assume they might be willing to at least cause some mayhem.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. On the count of 3, I'm going to pull the master switch, and we're going to hear the big beat.
Yep. Yeah, and you hear, and all of the cell doors swing open. Red alarm lights are illuminated throughout all of these hallways. Suddenly, everybody is free and runs out. What are you looking to make of this moment, team? I mean, do you want
Rebellion.
people?
Onward, upward,
Yeah.
to Rudolph.
Get rid
Pressing
of the
through the
guards.
chaos and up.
Okay. So you want them to storm up into the castle rather than escape. Okay.
Maybe try to encourage that a little bit. Like, let's go.
Totally. Yeah. I think that works beautifully. So you're running up into the castle with them. You pass the skating gymnasium, which is, if you look in, you see it's a hockey rink sized skating rink with elves and nutcrackers throwing snowballs back and forth at each other. Let's see. Continuing up, where in particular are you looking to get to right now?
Probably
Shield
shield. Yeah, shield control.
Yeah.
Totally. So you head to the shield control room up way at the top of the castle. The rebel-rousing masses successfully dispel any frosties and nutcrackers you may find. As you get up, the castle is warmer and warmer. I mean, not warmer and warmer, but it gets to be a comfortable sort of warm temperature to run around in as a warm-blooded mammal. And you see commensurately fewer and fewer frosties, but many of these stupid, confused nutcrackers who suddenly turn and are just overwhelmed by a swell of all manner of Christmas icons. The energy shield control room is a high-ceilinged chamber with rows and rows of complicated machinery. As you burst in, there's a pair of elves working the controls. What is your approach here?
Turn it off.
Yeah, I don't think we have subtlety on our side if we're bursting through with an army of singing elves. So
I think I will take the desire to taste the elven blood has only gotten more extreme as we have battled. So I intend to sink my teeth into the neck of the nearest elf.
maybe get one of the ones that's not on our side.
Oh, nearest, yes. Technical elf.
Totally. That's going to be roll vampire for me. And in particular, when they see you enter, the stakes here that they're going to dive for like a big red alarm button to try to set off some sort of alert.
I rolled a 6 and a 5.
Nice.
Which for 2 dice is pretty good.
Yeah, an 11. That's better than his 8. So you're able to get into his neck, suck some of it dry. I think their blood is glittery. It shoots Christmas sparkles out.
You have like a nice like red lip gloss now.
And
Also,
tastes like breakfast cereal.
A little
That hardly
bit
seems healthy.
special. It's Christmas. It does taste a little bit like candied apple.
Absolutely. The second one. So what happens, Nos, when you do suck somebody's blood? What state do they go into?
They are, they're rigid with terror. They rapidly turn pale as they exsanguinate. Often their eyes become slack and distant. The life force that enters into my robotic heart from within the fluid blood in their veins, transmogrified in a mechanism I'm not capable of explaining. If I complete the drain, then their lifeless husk falls to the floor, slightly reminiscent of an autumn leaf.
Totally. Wimple Sniggins in the corner is carrying show. Dresboodle, what has he done to you? And the second elf is carrying in the corner. Y'all now have control of this room. What are you going to do with it?
Where's Thingle? I want to demand that from them.
Thingle, Thingle. I think he worked. Didn't he worked the War Valley factory? He was one of the bosses there.
Mm.
Please don't hurt me.
Join us or
Following
die.
orders. I was just following orders.
That's what they all say.
So,
Oh,
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Turn the shield off, you bastard.
And show us where the secret room is where Mrs. Claus has her trysts.
The secret room. I mean, I don't know how to get in. I only say that Santa's sanctum is in there. But
Have you not noticed the festive garb we're all engaging with here? We're the new Santas in town. Show us where the damn secret room is.
I really don't know. I really don't. It's gonna like be reduced to rocking in the corner in terror.
Well, I shall simply have to use analytical skills to determine the location of this secret room.
Totally.
Perhaps, Zen Master Ninja, you can gather something from the sense space of. I don't know how you.
I will use my powers of Zen training in order to sense the oh god, what is that stuff called again?
I think you're looking for the feng shui.
Feng shui. Yeah,
Totally.
that's it.
Yeah. Let's see how you do.
I know that the thing has to be parallel to the road.
Yes, exactly. The bed has to have its head away from the door. In the meantime, the rest of you, now that you've seized control of this room, what are your goals?
what is the
Deactivate the
purpose
shield.
of this control room? Like, what is it controlling?
Sure, it controls pretty much every functionality in the castle. It controls the energy shields, it allows you to drain the moats, set up the emergency lighting, dispatch squads of elves and nutcrackers to various parts of the castle, lock and unlock munitions chambers with explosives and weapons stored throughout the castle. You can set off the emergency self-destruct sequence. You can control the power and temperature of the 136 hot tubs scattered throughout the fortress, and you can release novelty football-sized hazelnuts into the corridors for the nutcrackers' amusement.
Is it written in English?
Sure.
Well, then there's little computer screens. You can just start pushing buttons.
Yeah.
I don't think we should do that because then I'm going to end up hitting the self-destruct button if we just start pushing buttons.
Yeah.
And often you can't exactly choose the timing of those devices, but they are designed for dramatic effect, and 30 seconds is not very long. Perhaps we can use the contact to the reindeer to tell Mrs. Claus that we are turning off the shields, and the rebellion from within can be joined by the rebellion without.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Although the image of all of these peasants with pitchforks and torches makes me very uncomfortable.
But they're little pitchforks and little torches because they're little people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, so I'm helping them look around to see if we can find some secret door.
Totally. Kiso, how did your roll go?
I got an 11.
Got an 11. So you know what you're looking for. You know what the vibes are. You have the assistance of Rhett. You find that one of the banks of computers along the side wall with the whirring tape drives and everything has an extra switch at the end. All of them have 12 switches except for this one, which has 13.
This is very out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I shall flip the switch.
You flip the switch, and it slowly swings out, revealing behind it a doorway. And just for the sake of pacing, in the meantime, Fred, Lady Silver, and Nos are deactivating the shields.
Yes. I'm contacting the reindeer.
Totally. The shields come power down. You can feel the whole building rattle as they deactivate and see on the screen that they've turned off. The Rangers say, "Aye, aye, we knew you could do it. We're coming in." Totally. Through the door, Kiso, it's both a laboratory and a library. It's cluttered. The room contains the ruined contents of an occult laboratory, the original cottage where Santa's experiments went awry. All the surviving wreckage is here, scarred, charred, books, beakers, alembics, melted ancient talismans that could be mistaken for broken tree ornaments. Augmenting these are freshly constructed bookshelves from floor to ceiling, sagging under the weight of ancient books. You all feel a tingle of dread since these books seem very reminiscent of the mad tome you saw at Tiny Tim's house. You also notice... That's it. That is it. You also notice that envious Santa is here, looking up at you from the book he's reading and peering at you curiously over the rims of his spectacles. His eyes twinkle as he offers a welcoming ho, 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 in a soft and comforting tone. "And what do you want for Christmas?"
I want you to go fuck yourself.
Well, that's quite the entrance you've made.
Prepare to die.
Is that the approach here? Is you're just charging in, trying to kill him?
Yeah.
Maybe for dramatics, we're holding him at bay. I don't
Totally. There's a fireplace burning nicely behind him. He doesn't seem that threatened by you right now. More just interested.
We found Santa. We yell out at the others.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You found me.
Where's Rudolph?
Ah, Rudolph. What a foolish young thing. He should be found in the great chamber up above. He's been consumed by the father of all sin, by pure evil. How I envy him.
Satan?
That's one name. That's
I
one
guess
name.
it's pretty close to your name. Only have to rearrange the letters.
Yes. Yes. This is what I thought too, that if I could bind the father of evil to myself, I should have great power, but he saw the resentment and hatred in Rudolph's heart. And we really should have been nicer to the little pipsqueak.
Well, we're here to fix things. I'll point right at his head and fire.
He lays his finger aside his nose, and as the bullet is crossing the room, he fades out, and a wisp of magic shoots up the fireplace and away.
Shit.
As the bullet impacts on the back of the chair.
Shit.
That was nice leather work, too. It's kind of a shame. All right, well, where did he say Rudolph was?
Upstairs.
The very
Great
tippy
hall.
top?
Yeah.
Great Hall. Yeah. All right. Well, let's make our way up there. Presumably they're powwowing right now.
I'm going to quickly look at the book that Santa was reading.
You find these notes and fragments in the secret chamber.
The elder tomes speak of another way to remove father sin. It is not banishment, but an eldritch challenge by a similarly ancient being. Any of the vast demons from beyond the world can be called upon to face father sin in battle, and if there is cosmic alignment, the two great beings will occupy and ultimately defeat one another, leaving the world safe until they are once again brought down by proud sorcerers too big-headed to fit into their tacky wizarding hats. The ritual is child's play. The summoner need merely stare Father Sin in the nose and shout out the name of the opposing demon. While shouting, the summoner must give up something precious to him, destroying it in clear sacrifice. The flaw in this simple method is that the entreaty may only be shouted to a vast demon that the summoner has already encountered. And so it is a cruel joke of dark magic, for who among us has encountered dark Cathester and survived? Who has gazed upon dread Cathismus and escaped with his soul intact? Who has survived the likes of wild Catharberday or unspeakable Cathwanza? And then the other ones say, it is folly to presume that the spirits be only evil and inhuman. Indeed, they are nothing but a millennial deep reflection of humanity, angled and concentrated into a brief point in time. They bond in sympathy with mankind and may be distracted and even undone by their own natures, their human natures. They may also be beaten shitless, owing to their physical, altogether human fragility. And then shitless is crossed out and it says naughty. There's another one that says, I think we're doomed. None of us can summon one of the vast demons, and the ritual of 12 seems an impossible hope. We have only 2 lords present, and one of them can barely walk. The writings of Sursak, the unrelenting parenthetical, speak of a method, parentheses, more of a technique, close parentheses, by which the greatest taste, which is to say flavor of roasted marshmallows, the large kind on a stick, may be achieved in the intercosmic flames which will erupt when a demon like Father Sin is defeated. But Sursak never defeated him, so how would he know? And then the final one says, to banish Father Sin once he has been invited is to banish one's own soul to eternal chaos, torment, and regret. There will also be quite an odor that naught can get out, even with repeated scrubbing. For these reasons, the ritual of banishment are excluded from this tome, and those secrets will die with me. The bleak and selfish father must be permitted or defeated. He cannot simply be dismissed, nor can his wretched sons. And then there's just a candy cane that says, this means something.
Nice.
Well, I think we've encountered one of the demons of Cathismus. So all we need to do is look at him in the nose and shout the name of Cathismus, and he'll die.
Well, I was wondering about this because y'all aborted the ritual before Cathismus was fully summoned.
I saw him, though, in the
But
lake.
Kiso saw him in the water when he was underwater.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You saw his dread tentacles reaching up to snatch you. This is absolutely the case. So then, is that your strategy then? Is to try to do the ritual of summoning of the dread Cathismus?
This
We
seems
must
like a
sacrifice
terrible
something
idea.
too.
Mm.
Oh, but nothing means anything to me. I'm a Zen monk.
Didn't you mention in the first session that you had your little sake box that you were drinking out of?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Or there's your sword.
I could summon, I could sacrifice my sword. I could sacrifice my edginess and become an emotional loser. I think that's a good idea.
Truly, you would never be the same. That's for sure.
I'm no longer going to be nonchalant. I'm just going to be normal.
Totally. So you're heading up to the Great Feast Hall to face Father Sin in the incarnation of Rudolph.
Can I leave Gary in the control room ready to hit the initiate self-destruct if the shit hits the fan? I feel like maybe having that in our back pocket might be helpful.
Okay, I'll get at it with my nose.
Don't press anything unless we tell you to.
Maybe we should put a ballpoint pencil or a ballpoint pen in his mouth or something, because his nose looks a little squishy.
Sit in the swivelly chair and just hit it with your foot, Gary.
Okay, I'll be like Lon Chaney in that one movie. And he starts to kick his shoes off.
That Lon Chaney?
Freak Show. I think it was Lon
Oh,
Chaney or Lon Chaney
I was thinking
Jr.
of a different movie.
Oh, yeah,
Could have
totally.
grabbed some nutcracker arms to give you, kid. Don't know why we didn't do that. We'll figure it out.
I'll ask for them for Christmas.
Maybe Santa will bring you some.
Do you
I'd say
think,
Santa owes us all a great deal, after all.
Yeah, definitely.
since we are fighting Satan, do you think that any Christianity might help us? You're muted.
I said, do any of you have any Christianity?
There were some saints locked in the dungeon. We could see if we can gather them together, but the rebellion's kind of dispersed.
I think you can
Yeah.
also go ahead.
I was just to say I was dedicated to witchcraft since I was a child, so I'm not really compatible with Christianity in this case.
Indeed, I was created out of dark arts I do not myself comprehend.
Well, our only hope is the hobo, because I defeated many a Christian rebellion in Japan.
I mean, I can try.
Haven't Christian people gave you like victuals or whatever?
Yeah, I just realized what we might have had to have done, but we left baby Jesus back in Chicago.
I think you
Damn
can
it.
all. Yeah.
I wouldn't use the baby anyway. You don't want to use the baby.
I think it's also reasonable to infer from the occult scraps you gathered in the lab and Rhett from what you read in Tiny Tim's book that this is a being that existed before Christianity came and is a common denominator of many myths of demons and pure evil as a cosmic being.
So I suppose the actual antidote would be the opposite of evil, which is love, hope, compassion, mercy.
Totally.
None of these concepts compute in my edgy brain.
Well,
And
you
for
can't
that
put 'em
matter,
you can't put him in a gun either and shoot him at him.
and we are wearing the costume of our vanquished foes. Not exactly the most other cheek
You
kind of
know,
gesture.
I mean, I don't know how you guys have made it through life, so I don't know if you've seen it or not, but y'all watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? I mean, if you've watched the show, you do have sort of a sad feeling for this poor little red-nosed reindeer who gets rejected. Maybe love, compassion, and mercy towards the reindeer will allow Rudolph to overcome the Satan that's inside of him.
Or we summon the other reindeer and like do a smackdown childhood style where we all just mock him and laugh and maybe he'll regress.
Ooh. That's evil. So that might just help the devil.
Do they have any advice, the other reindeer? Did they get through the shields?
Yeah, they're coming in. You can call them up and say that Rudolph is the one in charge. Oh,
Yeah.
that little pipsqueak, he was always just a fluffer, never big enough to play our reindeer games, play our Mrs. Claus style reindeer games, never big enough to pull the sleigh, just kind of a pathetic loser.
So in this timeline, he's never pulled the sleigh and guided the sleigh.
There was that one foggy night.
No spoilers yet.
I would surmise that a night that was foggy all over the planet could only be caused by something extra normal.
Maybe the machinations of Cathismus.
Certainly does not seem meteorologically likely that the globe would be simultaneously fogged to the point that a magical elf and his 8 flying reindeer could not navigate.
That's true. We did encounter Rudolph's friend, that weird dentist guy. We should retrieve him. He could help us.
Totally.
There's a lot of elves and other weirdos running around right now, however, so I don't know how we're going to find one particular wannabe dentist.
It's
Well,
true.
he was very blonde.
Yeah. You left him back in the war factory running out into the darkness.
He'd be anywhere.
Yeah.
So is the idea then to, well, what is the idea then?
We're sending the Citadel to engage with the bullied reindeer mutant god thing
Satan.
without a
Right.
plan.
I mean, I heard several plans. It'll be interesting to see which one comes into
I
play.
said to bully him, but alternatively, if we want to take the Rhett avenue of goodness and shining light out of our asses, I guess you could volunteer him to lead the damn sleigh, and maybe that sets the story straight.
Could play some reindeer games with him. Of course, I don't know what reindeer games are, so maybe not.
Some of the reindeer games, I think, were rather naughty and took place in the room behind the screens.
I think you have to be a reindeer to engage in those reindeer games.
Yeah, that's probably correct.
Kickball, maybe.
They're kicking balls.
Well,
That was too easy.
let's
I'm
get
sorry.
this over with.
Totally.
What are we even doing? Are we doing this ritual?
I think we should do the Cathismus summoning ritual because 2 is better than 1.
Kiso, you're the only one who saw him, so you're the only one who can do it, apparently. But we got your back.
Yes.
I am curious to taste this roasted marshmallow.
Okay.
I hope there's an elevator in this citadel. I am tired of running upstairs.
It's true. It's true. You can take an elevator up to the castle's feast hall. The doors being open, and you see an enormous hall fit to end all food halls. On the back wall is sort of a tactical war display of the whole world. There are banks and banks of food on tables, crowds of elves and nutcrackers marching around, one sort of sad snowman melting in the corner, and strolling down the center of the chamber, looking very tiny against the vaulted ceiling and glossy marble floor, is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He has his nose shining bright, and he says, "So, these are the meddlesome idiots whom Dasher and his pathetic team hired." And he turns to envious Santa, who's standing in the back near a fireplace. "Are they not pathetic, Santa Claus?" And Santa nods and grins. "Whatever you say, kid, whatever you say." "Well, you fools, I have been empowered by the father of sin himself to destroy you with my massive antlers." And he has these like tiny little pathetic antlers. He's like a really small little guy coming towards you.
Be
Do
careful.
not be deceived by appearances.
Yes.
Look, Rudolph, what they did to you all those years ago is not very nice, but we love you. Oh, that doesn't taste good even when I say it. Yeah,
You
we
did
love
get
you.
a pretty delightful jingle out of it, you know, and some sequels. So, if you don't stop messing around, you're going to break the space-time continuum, and then you won't get what you want. We won't get what we want. So let's figure out how you can undo this situation. Also, the fat guy's going to have to die.
The fat guy, he's just one of Father Sin's children, pathetic, envious.
He's the only one left.
Good. All more power to me then. I think he's gonna start charging towards you, empowered by the power of demonic sin. Sort of like a beginning of an intense rage possessing him. And he's small, but wily.
How bright is his nose?
As his anger intensifies, it glows brighter and brighter until it's the shiningest thing in the room, reflecting on the floor. And in the eyes of the others.
This is a matter of some concern. Ninja, do you want to start the ritual? Lady Silver, maybe figure something out that will help, and the rest of us can scatter? Unless you can rope him, Clinton. I mean, you're pretty fast with them Christmas ribbons.
Yeah, they're not very strong, though. That's what I'll do. I'll jump to the side and summon up some Christmas ribbons to wrap him up, but Kisa will probably go first.
Yeah.
Okay. I will summon up in physical form all my edginess and toss it away and become a soppy feelings guy.
And you're summoning the Dread Cathismus?
And yeah, I will, look in his bright nose and summon Cathismus.
Totally. There's a rumbling and a roaring, and a steam gathers on the ground, forming into the jolly giant form of the horrible dread creature from beyond Aldebaran. And he and Rudolph Reindeer grow to giant size as the room begins to shake apart. Trading blows. The roof begins to crumble down around you as you have to dodge.
Everybody out!
The reindeer with their sleigh swing in around, carrying Mrs. Claus and the 6 corpses. Lumpkin runs up the staircase, winded, as Dismiss and Rudolph are beating the fumets out of each other. This goes on for several minutes. It's glorious and terrifying and not like anything any of you have ever seen. Until finally...
I've seen something like this when Godzilla fought King Kong.
It's exactly that, actually. That's exactly what it's like. Until finally the terrible Cathismus and the terrible Rudolph Reindeer, embodiment of all sin, meet each other in a terrible lock of I've said terrible a lot of times, of heads. Their dread energies exploding against one another. The Cathismus is dissipated in a terrible popping sound, and the steam flies off into the outer atmosphere as Rudolph Reindeer shrinks back down to normal size and lies quivering on the floor.
Wrap him up. Wrap him up like trying to wrap up a present that's oddly shaped and yeah.
He's tied up on the floor. Oh, hi. His nose is still glowing bright. Oh, it's gone. It's all gone.
Is it gone? Is it completely gone?
Mrs. Claus and Envious Claus come to say, yes, it's all dissipated. He's just a little reindeer. He says, oh, I was so regretful and remorseful and resentful, but I feel much better now. I do. And Mrs. Claus is able to perform her ritual, even without Envy being a corpse. It's a sparkling, beautiful, wonderful ritual. She arranges the corpses around him in the open sky. The whole top of the citadel has been blown open. It's sparkly and marvelous, and it smells like cinnamon and nutmeg, and sugar plums are dancing, and so on. And from it emerges the very real, very pure, jolly old elf, Santa himself. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you. I hope you have learned your lesson.
Of course. Never again will I meddle in forbidden Christmas magics. One of the elves. Yeah?
I'm going to go up and shake Santa's hand. because
Yeah.
I want to make sure that everything's okay in the touch.
Yeah. You shake his hand. He says, "Thank you so much, wonderful heroes, for restoring me to my right mind." And you sense all of the 7 aspects of him are truly this one person. It wasn't that anything was added, he was just broken apart into facets. But
Right.
now they all balance themselves out into a wiser, perhaps more humble, but truly jolly Santa Claus.
Yeah, he's back in control.
Sounds good. So, Santa, it's been Christmas Eve. I suppose you've got to get on your way. There happens to be a boy in the control room behind the shielding thing who very much hopes that he can get some arms for this holiday season.
Gary.
Oh, Gary. Of course I can do that. Oh, good old Gary has been on my nice list for a very long time. I think he'll be quite happy with what he finds beneath the tree. And one of the elves runs up to him and says, "Well, Santa, there's some effect of the lingering, dissipating evil, but there's a horrible, dense fog all around. I'm not sure you'll be able to fly." And he says, "Well," and he turns to Rudolph and he says, "Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?"
Well, I need to untie him.
The end.
Yeah. Cool. So what happens when when I get back to Chicago and we've got a baby Jesus?
I think this one was probably the Santa shill Jesus, and he grows up to have this like obsessive, weird desire to promote Santa Claus. But I expect your training allows him to turn his latent Santa energies into some form of like witchy Christmas.
Creative.
Yeah,
He's a Christmas witch.
that's it.
It's like Unknown Armies, but he's a Christmas guy.
Exactly.
Cool. Great story. Lots
Yeah,
of
thank
fun.
you, Preston. This was fun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Enjoyed
guys.
I'd never heard of this RPG before. It's very entertaining.
Sublimely ridiculous.
it. It's fun.
Is there
Yeah, we're
anything you can
hilarious.
tell us that we missed or?
Yes, let's see. Let me flick through. There's Santa in the skating rink has a prisoner. She's a young girl who wrote to him wanting to come visit the North Pole. She saw the whole incident and was there primarily to tell you that Envy himself was feeling remorseful and envious of Father Sin, who was running the show. You definitely could have talked him like you talked Avarice into being on your side. He was very willing, actually, by the time you found him, to come over to your side of things. What else did you miss? Philo from the first chapter had a whole he has a group of folks who could have gone back to his apartment, spent the night there, met his friends. They were actually meant to have been kidnapped, or not meant to, but could have then been kidnapped and found where you found the kidnapped reindeer, Lady Silver. But y'all never met those guys. You sent them away, and that was that. What else was there? If you had waited for the ritual to be completed, the Dread Christmas would have risen out of the altar. It would have split open, and he would have come out in his full glory. Potentially even eating the Cratchits.
They got eaten one way or the other.
Exactly. I think that's about it. You could have, of course, eaten the ribs at the rib place, and they would have been delicious and memorable and fabulous.
All been ghouls. Eventually.
Exactly.
Apologies for the magical fog ruin spoiler.
No worries.
I
That
could
was
have just
hilarious.
held that back for a moment longer.
No. It was very, very funny. I'm glad you did. Yeah, there's more dicking around in Jerusalem you could have done. You sort of avoided the fight scene by burning out the temple. In terms of the North Pole, actually, you bypassed because you marched straight in to the war toy factory. You bypassed Willie the toy tank, who is a infantile self-wetting tank in one of the warehouses. If you had snuck in, an alarm would have gone off, and you would have been encouraged to hide in the warehouse, and he would have greeted you. Of course, nobody wanted a giant tank that wet itself, so he's just been mothballed.
Oh,
Well, they should send him to the island of misfit toys.
Precisely. That's really about it. If you had kept baby Jesus, he would have gone to the toilet at all the wrong times, and you'd have to change his diaper right before something really inconvenient was going to happen. In fact, you could have, well, anyway, if you had had him with you in the sleigh when the foreigner-seeking missiles were chasing you down, there were other tactical opportunities. Yeah.
He's a deflector shield.
Exactly.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right. That was really fun. We got to run some more of Risus.
Thank you. Yeah. Totally.
Our players included Julian Arba, Holly Buto, Max Meltzer, David Gasway, and myself with Preston Firestone as the game master. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you'd like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the wonderful world of the Risus role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.